Hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Bliss Foster. Today we're answering fashion questions and we will begin this way. Who do you think will take over at Louis Vuitton after Virgil's passing? That's a super good question. Originally, I thought that it was going to be Nigo, to be honest, but then Nigo went to Kenzo, and so that is definitely not happening. I'm terrible at predicting the future, to be honest. There's a lot of people that definitely would crush it in that role, so I'm just going to throw some of those out here. Kirby Jean Raymond would definitely be one that I think would be an excellent fit. Kirby, I think, would be able to be a good next logical step, because I think Kirby does have a pretty solid understanding of, it's always such a loaded term now, but in the streetwear side of things, I think Kirby is aware of what's going on. He's very plugged in. He knows what's up and he knows how to do it. But at the same time, Kirby has demonstrated a lot of prowess in the luxury market. I mean, in his own brand, if you've looked at the stuff that he's put out, it is all very luxurious, and it plays into that conversation really strongly. I think Kirby would be a really great option for that. A lot of people have talked about Tyler, the Creator, taking over. I think that Tyler could crush that. I think the biggest question on that is whether or not Tyler wants to do that. I mean, he has his outlet for doing fashion at Golf Le Fleur, crushing it there, but he's also going through such a renaissance with his own music. I think in the last probably 2 albums, it's really been demonstrated to us that Tyler's I have a lifetime of work inside of me that is worth showing everyone. I mean, he's just evolved as an artist so much. And so I just wonder if, is he the kind of person where he would be like Kanye and he's like, no, I will happily split my time between 2 massive pursuits and I will crush both of them? Or is he the kind of guy who's like, you know what, I'm really focused on music. I have the clothes as a side thing, and this is mostly what I'm dumping my time into right here is the music. Both of those answers are perfectly legitimate. I do think Louis Vuitton would be happy to have him if he went in and did that. But yeah, who else would be really good in that position? You know who no one has talked about, but that I think would do really well is Maolola Ogunlesi. It would especially be really cool to have the perspective of a woman designing menswear. We have examples like her and Emily Bodie, who are definitely designing killer clothes for men. But it would be really cool to have a woman designing for men in a luxury context. That would be a great follow-up. Also, a lot of people have pointed to that Virgil wanted his successor to be a young black creative. I don't remember seeing any place where Virgil said that explicitly. I may have just missed it. Virgil obviously said many, many things. If someone knows where I can find that, please leave that down in the comments. Even if that statement doesn't exist anywhere on the internet, I can totally see where that thought comes from. That does seem to be a pretty safe inference from what Virgil's whole body of work was kind of saying overall. But I mean, hey, they could do something really cool, like what with Gucci and Alessandro Michele. Alessandro Michele was not known to anyone when he was appointed as the creative director at Gucci, but he had been working on the Gucci team. I think he was head of accessories for 12 years or something. And so it would be really, really cool if Louis Vuitton found, a young person of color who was on their team that was really crushing it and demonstrated a lot of leadership skills and had a really clear vision, and then brought that person up and said, hey, everybody, I know that you don't know him yet, but this person is really going to bring a really fresh vision to our house, and they're starting next week. That would be a really cool thing for them to do as well. But yeah, any other thoughts about who else should take over after Virgil? It's obviously really huge shoes to fill, but I'm excited for the future. I think it could be really cool. And I do think that there's kind of, last point on this, I do think that there is really fertile ground for Louis Vuitton to experiment with someone that might be sort of unexpected. Because if you just look at the raw numbers, the women's wear market makes so much more money than the menswear market that they might see the men's creative director role this time around. They might see it as a place where they really can give a young creative a shot. Because Gasquier is in the women's wear role there. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that the women's wear side of Louis Vuitton is pretty locked down. But they really might go for somebody who is unexpected. And I would love to see that. I'm always in favor of getting some younger talent into the lineup. Would be really cool. Thanks so much. But yeah, like I said, there's lots to talk about here. I definitely want to hear what everyone else thinks about this and sort of give me your thoughts. Okay, so here's a really great question. Bliss, do you have a lot of fashion friends in real life? I don't, and I really wish that I had people to talk with about fashion. That's a great question that wasn't actually asked. I would go absolutely nuts if I did not have my Discord server. Like, making these videos is wonderful. I love my job so much. It is so fulfilling to be able to talk with people and to know that you're always around nuanced conversations about something that you love. So if you don't have a lot of fashion friends, join the Patreon, get on the private Discord server, make some fashion friends. It's a party in there. It's just like a 24-hour like fashion friends group chat. It's incredible. Do you have a storytelling approach to your personal style? What story does it tell? We touch on personal style on the channel every once in a while. That's not really what this channel is about, but I mean, for me, honestly, the answer to that question is no. I take in fashion sort of the same way that like I take in music, where it's like I'm a fan of certain artists and I love those artists and I keep up with them and I like listen to their music a bunch and stuff. Like in fashion, obviously it's a little bit different because you can just get Spotify and then you have everything. But with fashion, you actually have to like purchase the clothes. At least when you're talking about personal style, we're talking about purchasing clothes. And in that situation, I have lots of designers that I really love and I keep up with them. And when I see something by those designers that I'm like, oh, that's a really great like example of what they do super well, and it's within my price range, I'll get it. This is a great example of that. Like, this is a Y Project turtleneck. It has this crazy gauze all over it, and there's just like a stretchy white turtleneck that's underneath it, and it's over the entire thing. And it does all this cool stuff, right? Like, I mean, the netting over top of it is able to like mush together this like white turtleneck that's over my body, and so it gets kind of crumpled up under it and stuff, and it never looks perfect, but it looks so cool. And I don't know, there's a lot about this that is what I love about Glenn Martin's work. But this is not a hyped Y Project piece. Like, even people who are really into Y Project, many of them probably have never seen this before. I don't care. I like the piece a lot. I think it's really cool. Is this cohesive with what most people understand my personal style to be? I don't think that it is. I mean, like today I'm having to wear black skinny jeans because, you know, I don't really have very much that goes with this turtleneck. But I'm cool with that. Like, you know, if I get something and I really have nothing to wear it with, but I really love it a lot, you know, on some level, like my clothes are kind of like my baseball cards. I mean, I'm not going to buy something that like literally won't fit onto my body, but if I have to wait a little bit to be like, oh, wait, you know, here's another pair of pants that I want in their own right, and these will go with this piece that's had to sit in my closet for a little bit. That's fine. I'm a fan of fashion the way that people are fans of music or movies or something. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Why did you stop playing Magic the Gathering? That is an excellent question. I think I mostly just like lost interest in it. That game is so impressive. I played Type 2, and so it was tens and tens of thousands of different cards that did all kinds of different things and abilities and creatures. And I think the thing that made me not want to keep going was that it was just, there were so many options. And then like, you know, a friend in our group would like do a bunch of research into a specific like set from 8 years ago. Oh my gosh, this combo is gonna like whatever. This game is so, there's so many options in it that you're now kind of almost playing a different game. And I don't know how to counter that. So, I mean, it's great if you want to play it like exhaustively, but like, I just sort of was like, okay, we're gonna play this for a little bit and then I'm just kind of done. Great fashion question there. What importance do chemists have in fashion? I do not know how to answer that, but I can give you a super cool anecdote about a chemist in fashion. So pretty early on in Martin Margiela's career, he was doing a exhibition that was going to be a retrospective of all of his work up to that point, and he wanted to do something kind of unique. And so he teamed up with a chemist to make these mold samples that could grow onto the different garments. And over the period of time that the exhibition was being shown to the public, the mold samples would grow and continue to change and sort of eat at the different garments. The results were mind-blowing. They were so fucking cool. And in fact, some of these were dangerous for people to be exposed to, so they all had to be behind glass, or they all had to be outside with a window between the audience and the pieces themselves. It was so cool, and him and the chemist actually, wait, was it a, oh dang, this was a microbiologist. I'm sorry, I let you down. But still an example of the hard sciences coming into fashion and doing something kind of innovative and cool. Quick note as I'm editing here, this was technically the idea of the wider Maison team, including like the communications director, Patrick Scallon. It was not Martin's idea specifically. It was something that the house put on instead of the individual himself. What was the piece of clothing that made you fall in love with fashion? I think there's like a two-part answer to this question, really. The first one was when Tyler, the Creator, went up to accept an award at the VMAs. He was wearing a Supreme hat, obviously. And I had never thought about clothes really before. I sort of had like a personal style thing where I'd go to thrift stores and dress a certain way, but I had never thought about fashion before. And certainly no specific brands in any way. And I remember thinking like, I wonder what that is. And I looked it up online and it began. I became unreasonably obsessed with Supreme for years. But then there was kind of another shift because I saw the video for Paris by Kanye West and Jay-Z, Watch the Throne. And the leather kilt by Givenchy that was in that music video was just like mind-blowing to me. Because I looked at it and for the first time I thought like, oh, that's not like someone saying, look, like my clothes are so expensive. This seems to be more of like a nuanced artistic statement wearing this thing. But yeah, I just remember thinking like, oh, this seems to be maybe more about storytelling. I should look into that. And then I looked up more stuff by Riccardo Tisci's Givenchy and it was dunzo. I got full on obsessed with fashion, a obsession that has ridden with me for 10 years. Yeah, this is my 10th year being into fashion. That's so crazy. It's been the sweetest decade of my life. This really might be like the most typical thing ever. It's like, how did you get into high fashion? And it's like, well, at first it was through Supreme and then it was through Kanye. But it's the truth. That's how it happened. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. And hey, oh my gosh, go join the Patreon because like before, you know, you were watching a video and so maybe you couldn't stop the video to join the Patreon. I totally get it. But now the video is over so you can go join the Patreon and get on that private Discord server and make some fashion friends. Also, I noticed recently and like somebody who is a professional pointed out to me that my Instagram following is, their words were not good. But I feel like I have like a decent number of subscribers over here. So if you subscribe, please go follow me on Instagram. Because I apparently need to get those numbers up so I seem more professional. If you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. I love you with the white hot intensity of 1,000 suns. Goodbye. Okay.